What's the thing that you're most excited for this year?
The thing I'm most excited for this year, musically, would be the album. Would be to get the album done. It's actually recording the album. Recording the album is going to be fun. Because the cool thing is I like being locked in with everyone, and Nick and I are going to be doing drums and bass at the same time. And that's super fun, and it's super... Adjective. It's super... There's a word here. Fulfilling is not the best one, but it's super fulfilling to play with Nick as a bass player, because his pocket is just deep. He has ordinary sized hands, but big, deep pockets. He can fit everyone's hands in his pockets if he wants to.
Ugh.
And that's what, if he wants to, he can if he wanted to. I'm not judging. But that's what's fun playing with Nick, is he has such an insane understanding of rhythm and groove and how to shift the time and how to make everything feel so different at the drop of a hat, and how to make everything just feel so comfortable to play on top of or to get in between. And then once him and I lock in, we both look at each other like, is this the best thing we've ever heard in our lives? And we're thinking, yeah, it is. And then we just take off. And that recording is going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much better than just doing it singularly or just doing it in a booth or just some guy behind the thing going, okay, Matt, rain, go, 1, 2, 3. It's like, I don't want to, give me someone to play with when I'm recording. So it's the recording of the album, actually, that I'm most excited for. I mean, touring and going overseas and room service and champagne and caviar and look, great. But it'll be the recording first. That's the first thing I want to get done, is the recording. It'll be really, really fun.
I'm so excited. And
Yeah, right.
I think the pre-pros that we've done that sound really, really good are where you guys are locked in together.
Yeah.
And it does just do something to the sound. It just sounds so real, and it grooves so hard when you guys are just locked in.
Yeah. Fat.
With your hand deep in his pocket.
Just deep in his pocket. I don't know how I'm playing bass with my hand in his pocket, but it works. It works.
Nick doesn't care whose hand is in that
Doesn't
pocket.
care who's in his pockets, right?
He'd, as long as they pay, he'd put anyone's hand in his pocket.
They pay him?
Oh, no, Nick would pay them.
Nick could pay them, yeah. I don't know how we'd give them the money because it's people's hands in his pocket. We can discuss that later. But
I got some money for you
that's
in my
why
pocket.
people's hands in his pocket. Oh, we figured it out.
We figured it out. That's why he
makes
keeps
sense.
asking me to reach into his pocket.
That's right, because finally figured him out. See, he's not as complicated of a guy as you think.
Yeah, he's like, come jump in the sauna with me. I've got something in my pocket for you.
Chick, fun. We're having fun in the sauna. Chick.
Wait, you're wearing your pants in the sauna?
Why are you wearing this? What? He wears a little Daisy Dukes, but his pocket's all the way down here. Like big socks.
Further, reach in further.
Up to your elbow. Give it some grease. Right? That makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. Cool. So getting the album down, that is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
What are you most scared of about this year?
Getting the album done. The time. Because like you said, I didn't actually realize it's been 2 years. It will be 2 years in the making. And so it's just about, what is it? Tell you what it is. Here it comes. There it is. It's more like it's the recording of the album and just getting it done. And once it's done, then what? So the album's recorded. Then there's the whole push of getting it out, getting it in front of people, how to get it in front of people. I don't even mind how it's going to be received. That doesn't bother me. It's just once it's done, it's done. That's my job done as far as the recording side of it goes. My job isn't for people to like it. My job is for myself to like it first. If I really like what I'm doing, then it's sort of irrelevant if other people like it. If they do, that's obviously what I want. But it's not the be-all and end-all. I don't really mind if no one else likes it. It's more just I've done something that I like. So inevitably there will be other people that like what I've done. Because if you're passionate about something, someone's going to be drawn to it and go, wow, that guy's really on that thing. I really want to get over there and blah, blah, blah. So I'm more scared of just getting it done. And then what? Then go, okay, how do we do it? How do we do the thing? How do we do the thing we all want to do? How do we go on tour? How do we play shows? How do we go overseas? How do we do support? How do we blah, 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 blah? How do we get in front of people?
It's the scariest part, right?
It's scary. It's exciting, but it's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what, if you had to pick a strategy right now, what would your strategy be to get it out?
Probably put the album into the school curriculum.
Smart.
Make it mandatory listening.
How would you do that?
Oh, take away scripture. If they still have that in schools, and just
Replace
put in
religion.
Replace religion with patient lounge. Which, same thing, It's just a different
Regaju.
religion, right? Regaju. Planting the seed. Planting the seed.
It'll all make sense soon. Yes.
It'll all make sense soon. Don't worry, kids. Yeah. I think, how would I get it in front of people? Well, it would be, I think in my mind, the most fun would be to get on a cool support slot with a band that's come over from wherever, and then they go around Australia, and then we hop on their tour, and then we just do that tour, and then someone sees us and goes, "Oh, you guys are really great. Do you want to come on our tour?" Yeah, of course we do. We just tour hop. That'd be my ultimate thing. Would be just a tour hop, because I think I'd be a real tour dog. I think I'd be a road dog. I would love to be out on the road. I'd love to be going to new places and playing in front of new people all the time, and getting on the bus, getting off the bus, getting on the plane, getting off the plane, living out of a suitcase. Cool with me. I think. Haven't done it yet, but cool with me. I think. So my perfect world, I would be a road dog, hopping on tours, hopping on supports, and then landing the headline at some festival. And festivals are really great for other people to see you. So there's a lot of people that go to festivals. Right? I hope.
So I'm going to get all neg for a second.
Great. Great.
I completely agree. But the terrifying thing is, it's like, to your point, it's not really a thing anymore, which is terrifying. Like, you see artists come over, like who came over the other day? It was Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam didn't even come to Brisbane.
Yeah, they went to Gold Coast.
Gold Coast, yeah. But like, they do, Pearl Jam came over, I think they did Melbourne and Gold Coast?
Didn't do Sydney?
Maybe they did. There was a major artist I saw recently, well actually, Taylor Swift, for example, didn't do Brisbane. She just did Melbourne and Sydney, and that was it in her tour, which is crazy.
The Eras tour?
Yeah.
She didn't do Brisbane in the Eras tour.
She didn't do Brisbane.
Yeah, she didn't. That's right. I had a bunch of students that had to go down to Sydney.
Yeah.
That's right.
But that's becoming like a normal thing now.
Yeah, right.
There's been a lot of artists recently that have skipped Brisbane. And it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary that the touring artists and the touring scene is like, I think we just got to get out of Australia if we want to do that.
Yeah.
Because here in Australia is just a horrible place geographically.
Someone's going to cut that. Someone's going to cut that.
Australia is just a horrible place.
Cut.
Yeah. I'll do it. I'll cut it.
That's our career over. Done.
Yeah, but it just is, right?
Yeah, Brisbane doesn't seem like it's a hub of music for our genre.
Definitely.
It sounds like it's going really great with grunge and really great with indie, which is, that's what it is, and that's what Brisbane is at the moment, and that's super cool. If you're in those bands, you're going to do really well in Brizzy. But I think for what we want to do is, it sounds like Europe is where we'd thrive. It sounds like Europe is where we would pick up other tours and pick up other artists and get new ideas and get new inspirations and be received really well over there.
Yeah.
I think.
It's just crazy. I wonder what it is about Brisbane that makes it this, like, because obviously those big artists, I would imagine, Taylor Swift, for example, there must be some type of calculation that they do. And they go, yep, Melbourne, worth it. Sydney, worth it. Brisbane, cross.
Yeah. Well, I do know that some of the big stadiums, especially the ones in Brisbane, have a cap on how many acts they can have per calendar year.
Okay.
I know Suncorp can only do a certain amount of acts per calendar year. And I'm assuming it's the same with the other stadiums, because why is it just for Suncorp? So that might be it, potentially. I know she has come to Australia. She has come to Brisbane previously, but not on the Eras tour, which was, I think, the biggest grossing tour of the year.
Yeah.
Of any year since, Jesus, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Maybe there's some type of, again, this is just getting a bit outside the box, but maybe they just go, okay, cool, we could estimate that we can make this much money if we just set up in Sydney and play 3 or 4 nights or whatever it was.
Yeah, right.
then packing everything up, moving it all to Brisbane and playing 2 nights there. We may as well just play 2 extra nights in Sydney.
Yeah.
Because we can. And then that'll save the time and shoot back home.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe.
Maybe that's it. I think it's definitely all a money thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure when we get more successful and we get more up in the world of touring and arenas and blah, 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 there will probably be some sort of bent on, look, financially, this is not going to make sense. So we don't want to ruin ourselves. Although I don't think that's a bother for someone like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I think it'd have to be like a global recession to make her financially not okay. But even then, she'd probably have like a bunker with money or something.
Yeah, it just mustn't have made sense. And I think the next thing to that is you look at, again, everyone talks about it all the time, but you look at the population of like Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, and then you look at countries in the UK, you look at America, and they've got like that split, but like cities like right beside each other.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So in a 6-hour radius, you can visit basically the equivalent of Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne in those locations. Whereas here, it's just, you got to travel 12 hours and then another, 12 hours to get to each location.
Yeah.
And then you're still only like, especially in the local scene, it's pretty rough. Like there's not a ton of, there's a lot of artists that are touring and doing the tour just for the sake of doing the tour, and it not really resulting in much for them.
Monetarily, you mean?
Monetarily,
Right.
but also reach-wise, because there's not a ton of people in Australia into like local music anyway.
Yeah, that's what it seems. At least that's what it seems like. Yeah, it seems like there's not a lot of people that are into, especially our kind of music.
Absolutely.
It seems like there's not a lot of people in Brisbane that are into our kind of stuff. So I don't even know any other bands that are. There's definitely other bands. I just don't know any other bands that are doing our type of music in Brisbane. And I think I would hazard a guess there wouldn't be many in Melbourne or Sydney for that matter.
Yeah, it was just smaller
Potentially.
niches, much smaller niches.
Yeah, yeah.
So, not to be said that it can't be done, and we definitely should do it, especially if we're getting, especially once we drop this album. This album's going to be so cool. It's going to be so cool. It's going to be so cool. People are going to want to hear it.
Yep.
But we just gotta.
Good. That was very well said.
Thank you.
I understood that completely.
So, where I kind of want to really take this is, how old are you now?
34.
Beautiful.
I think about that.
Which part of your journey do you feel like you're on? So, if we've got a graph and we've got, ups and downs and everything like that, do you feel like you are, if you were to take a guess, where would you say you sit on your journey?
Musically, I've been on an up since I started university, really, and that was 2015. Started university because I started to learn more about the technical side of things. Met literally everybody I play in bands with now at uni. Made the relationships I did, the business contacts, all the people I do business with musically. My job now is through Nick, who I met at uni. So since then, I've joined bands, got a lot of experience, changed instruments, and now had a sack thrown over my head, shoved into a van, and now I'm in patient lounge. So I think now I'm more on the up trajectory, and it's been like that since 2015, really.
Sick. So you got started on your music journey traditionally a little bit later than most people would you say?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I didn't pick up the guitar till I was 14. And I think John Butler did the same thing at 14 too. I think he started guitar at 14.
There you go.
Yeah, and then, then didn't go to uni till I was 25. So I was 11 years after. Quick maths. And then did guitar for a year, and then the band that I was in had to, you know how you're in Tri-3 and you have to form a band out of your cohort? Well, we had 20 people in our whole trimester. So we had to whittle down. So as people left or just didn't want to do it anymore or, couldn't do it, the trimester got smaller. And then they went, there's 4 guitarists. One of you has to be a bass player. And everyone looked at each other. Well, I want to be a bass player. Well, I don't want to be a bass player. And they all looked
Classic
at me.
you.
They all right. And then they looked at me and went, "Oh, Matt, you haven't thrown up yet. Do you want to be a bass player?" It's like, sure. I've just bought this guitar for nothing. Cool. All right. And then I picked up a bass and I went, "Oh, this is way cooler than guitar. Oh, this is cool. I get to do my own thing over here. And then I get to lock in with this guy. Oh, that's rad. Okay." And then I became a bass player. And it's been like that since I was 25.
So you identify as a bass player now?
Oh, so many jokes in there. But what one do I go for? You know when you have 1,000 jokes, they all come to the front of your head and then you just like bleed out of your eyes? Yeah, I'm a bass player now.
Nice.
I couldn't think of one. They all came to the front of my head.
Just exploded.
They did.
So if you were at a party and someone said, "Hey bro, what do you do?" Would you say,
Oh, I'm a musician. That's what I'd say.
Nice.
I'm a musician, yeah.
"What do you do?" is normally how that conversation. What do you play?
Yeah. Do you ever just make something up when you don't want to have that conversation?
I should. I
Right?
really should. Yeah, I think Sarah and I were talking about this the other day of how like it's so funny. We will often we get sick of that repetitive conversation sometimes.
That's just small talk, right?
Yeah, I
What do
think
you
so.
do? How's work? Where do you live?
There was a part of my life where I really kind of enjoyed that when I first started doing, like when I first was a professional musician. I found a lot of joy in telling people that I'm a musician. But then,
Oh yeah, it's cool. It's a cool thing to say, right?
yeah, but then as it got on and I felt like I wasn't living up to my potential as a musician, that I found that conversation harder and harder to have with people.
Oh, interesting. So you felt like you were lying to yourself or letting yourself down or not living up to your own standards of what you wanted to do?
I guess so.
Interesting.
But I felt like when I was like freshly out of uni and I was telling people, I was like, "Oh, awesome, no, I just finished uni. I'm going to do this, this, and this."
That's always the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
none of those things was like some of those things that especially what I'm getting at is in the journey when I had quite an early peak with cool shit. So I was
Yeah.
full-time muso. I was playing, 20 hours a week doing like cover shows and making money that way. And had a band that was going on tour and was touring around Australia and doing some really cool things.
Yep.
And then that same conversation, like there was within like a year, there were all these really cool things that I was adding. And I was like, "Oh yeah, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this." And then the list of things to add to that declined. And I wasn't able to, I felt like I was having the same conversation with the same people. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yes.
So that happened, and just having that same conversation over and over and over again made me realize, like, oh man, I feel like, yeah, I'm not living up to my potential. I think you're
Right.
right. I think you unpacked that better than I did.
Right.
That was how it felt, is I felt
Right.
kind of stuck. And the thing that I feel really good about this year is that getting to open a new door and what we're going to do this year and
With the album.
with the
Yeah.
album and the rebrand that we're going to do as well.
Yep.
Has got me really excited because it felt like that was like the prequel.
Yeah, cool. Okay, yep.
And now we're into episode 4.
That's a skit. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. Okay,
Yeah,
yep.
That's where we're at.
Yep.
So I feel like what we're about to do with everything has just like the fact that we're rebranding and changing the name and getting really excited to do something brand new and treat it like a brand new project
Yeah.
is 100% what's made me feel refreshed and not like I was chasing something that I
That's
was kind
cool.
of gripping at straws, like trying not to fall off the mountain. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to go back to where I was 5 years ago, basically.
Yeah, right,
Because it was
right.
2020, I would say was the peak. That's when we were doing these tours and that.
Yeah.
And then
And someone sneezed and ruined everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
China. And then and 5 years later, here we are.
There it is. Well, we guess we can't go tour in China now.
Yeah.
Great. Excellent.
We're banned from
We're banned from there.
CCP.
Oh, that's great. That's excellent.
So, yeah, no, we love you, China. We love China.
I didn't say anything about it.
I love
Peace,
China.
love.
I'd do anything to
I'm
Beijing.
actually going there next week.
My best friend's from China.
That's crazy. My mum's Chinese.
Anyway. So that's where I'm just so excited for that next chapter.
Yeah.
And does the idea of rebranding and changing the name do that for you as well, or not as strongly?
No, and I probably don't know why I yelled that. No, it doesn't. I think it doesn't do that for me because I didn't have the 5 years previous with you and Nick grinding it out and doing all these things and going up the mountain and then falling off and then feeling like you weren't living up to your potential. I don't have that. So for me, joining Patient Lounge in whenever I did, I don't know when it was, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I don't know. But it felt like a brand new thing. But for you guys, it would have felt like the same band just with a few different people. So I think that's why it doesn't feel like a rejuvenation to me. The bit that keeps me going is the fact that we're finally recording. That's what it is for me. So
Yeah.
It could be the same name. It could be hopefully the same people, which it is. That's leading me more forward.
The progress.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing sometimes, and I think it was the hard thing for us at the end of last year, is it was stalling, and I think it was stalling because it was tricky because we were kind of putting our faith in other people to get us to where we needed to be. And there's something about that that's like, if you do want really quick progress, you need to be able to try and do as much as you can of yourself and not rely on other people.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, because I think we wanted to record this album 6 months ago, yeah? Well, we were meant to record it 6 months ago.
Yeah, things were supposed to come out this month.
Yeah, we were meant to drop our very first song 2 weeks ago.
That's right.
And now we're not even recording for another couple of weeks.
Yeah, end of Feb.
Which is scary, but we I think I've learnt a lot in terms of, I think what kind of happened, we went, okay, cool. There's all these reasons why everything just kept getting pushed back, but we're locking in a date and we're doing as much as we can ourselves, and the stuff we can't do ourselves, we're going to pay as much money as we can to get sounding as good as possible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just really excited for that next step and getting over that mountain. So, with you, have you had a moment like that where you felt like your journey was stalling?
I don't know. I can't think of one. Oh yeah, it was before I went to uni, really. That's why I keep saying it's been up since I have left uni since I started uni. That was the whole reason why I got into uni, because I felt like I wasn't doing anything. I was in a couple of bands, they were doing a couple of local shows, which was really, really fun, but I wanted more understanding of my instrument, more understanding of the language I need to speak, music, more understanding of everything. And I thought, uni, that'll give me the understanding, it'll give me the skills, it'll put me in front of the people I need to work with, and from then on it's just been up. So my dip has been before university. There's been no dip since in terms of my musical journey, because even though Patient Lounge wasn't recording when we said we were going to record, or it didn't feel like we were doing anything, I still had other bands that were doing other projects. So that was always, I had fingers in other pies. Some of those pies were hot, some of those pies were cold, but, most of my fingers were well taken care of, I'd say.
And
I think I'm happy with that phrase.
And so how did that downward spike manifest? What did that low look like for you?
It was just sheer boredom and just not confident in my own talents. And it was just like, oh God, I'm just not doing well at this. I thought I could do it myself. I don't feel like I can progress anymore, and I just plateaued. I stopped writing songs, stopped playing guitar, because I was still a guitar player then, stopped jamming with the bands I was in, stopped looking for other gigs. So that's what that looked like. It was just stagnation.
At that point in your life, did you see yourself as a musician?
No, definitely not. I was a waiter. That's what I was at that stage. I was a waiter. Yeah,
So
I was
you
a waiter at
identified
Hog's
as a
Breath.
waiter.
I identified as the guy that wore the pink suit.
The pink suit.
The pink suit, yeah.
You had to wear a pink suit at Hog's Breath.
You know, Hog's Breath, how you have that pink pig suit?
Yeah.
The pink pig suit. I was the pink pig suit guy.
I didn't know you were the pink pig.
I was the pink pig guy. I was the best guy to wear the pink pig suit. I was jumping around. I was getting about.
Around the restaurant?
Yeah. If you ever went down to Cleveland, Hog's Breath, and you were fondled by a guy in a pink pig suit, would have been me. Would have been me. I was great. You could get away with so many things. You could get away with, you know, chatting to people or giving someone the finger or just being a bit cheeky, and everybody would love it. So, back to the story. I was the pink pig suit guy. That's what I identified as. That was me.
You were the pink pig suit guy.
I was the pink pig suit guy.
There you go. So
me.
what was a moment, like tell me about what was the wall that you ran into that made you go, I need to change this?
I wanted to be a musician so bad. I wanted to tour so bad. I wanted to be on the road. I wanted to just do music. That was the big thing. I wanted to only do music to make my money. To wake up in the morning and have only musical things to do, only musical things to think about, only musical places to go to, only musical people to talk to, music. And I thought, well, being the pink pig suit guy is not going to get me towards that goal. So I had to toss that aside. I had to, say that's not going to happen. Couldn't think of any other pig or bacon related things to say. So I had to give that a flick. And then I went, you know what? Uni's probably a great idea. I should go and study it. I should go and be around people who are studying it, be around teachers who are passionate about it, and then that'll put me on the right track. And it did, because I think a year and a half ago, I could quit all my other jobs and just do musical jobs. So teaching, bands, gigs, freelancing, session work, that kind of thing. So that got me to my goal, and it all started with uni.
There's something awesome about university where it just puts you in that situation, and you mentioned it before, where you're surrounded. It forces you to have a musical network.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are two things that I liked uni for. Number one was the network. Mm-hmm. How it forced you around people and like-minded people that will help you get to your goal or whatever it is that you want, but you've now got this cohort to really push for that with.
Yeah.
Same thing. I don't think Patient Lounge would have been a band without me going to music university.
Because you guys all met at uni, right?
I met Nick. I knew Nick already. But
yeah. But you met Eric and Tom at JMC?
Didn't meet Tom. So I met Eric, and we were in a uni band from like Try One together.
Yeah.
Great chemistry. And then I brought Nick along, and Eric brought Tom along, because Eric knew Tom from metal bands. And that's how that started.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
Basically a uni band. Nick went to JMC a couple of years after. But so number one was the networking, and number two is it just forces you to practice your craft every day.
Yeah.
So if there could be something that's like uni that does that doesn't cost $80,000, that would be incredible.
Right?
Oh my God, that's a great business idea.
So what would that be? What would that? Well, it's touring, isn't it?
Well, it's just having a community of where people come face to face and are forced. So the beauty of university that really works is it does force you to cooperate. It makes you do assignments together.
Yeah.
And maybe you can't do it without the university aspect, because it's that weans out the people that are serious or not. I remember when I went to university, there were a whole bunch of people in the music course that definitely shouldn't have been there.
Yes.
And they knew they shouldn't have been there because they didn't last very long.
Yeah.
And I think the issue with some universities is they want the money, so they'll take in anyone that they can, as long as they can meet this very, very low bar that is set.
Right.
So was it the same for you? Did you have a bunch of people drop out in the first?
Oh yeah, in the first, I think during my whole university career, we had a cupboard. You know that cupboard that was in between two rooms, and somehow you had to fit all the musical equipment, like everybody's guitar cases and bass cases, into the cupboard. Try one, the cupboard was so packed, it sucked. Trimester 2, there was room for another guitar. Try 3, there was just all the space in the world. We're thinking, this is great, what happened? Oh,
where'd everyone go?
Where's blah, 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 blah. Oh, they dropped out. Oh, well, peace, love, but there's all this space in here for all my stuff. Look at that, blah, blah, blah. Try 4, when a new cohort came in for the trimester 1s, it was back to being full again. So, yeah, there were perks.
Yeah. perks of everyone quitting.
All perks of people quitting. Yeah. But heaps of people quit. Heaps of people didn't make it. Heaps of people didn't even make it to the diploma level.
Absolutely. I think that's the same with every single uni course, right? Like
Surely.
you apply for nursing. There's a million people that apply for nursing, and then only like I'm sure a very low percentage even make it to, finish the degree, let alone there's probably a really high percentage of people that drop out in that first couple of weeks as well.
Yeah, surely, because people get into courses and they just don't know what to expect, or, this isn't what I thought, and, like when I was going
to play music? What type of music degree is this?
I came in here for nursing, what's happening? Like, I started my master's, but the master's course that I was doing wasn't what I wanted to do. It was not really music, it wasn't music orientated enough. It was more business and more promotion and more this and more that. It wasn't just music. So I dropped out and I only got up to my grad cert.
What was your master's in?
It was creative industries.
Okay.
And it wasn't as pinpoint focused on music as I wanted it to.
It's funny, I finished my music degree, and then I was like, I only spent 2 years doing that. That didn't feel like enough. So I enrolled in the audio degree at JMC as well.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because I got my music degree as a scholarship. I was like,
that's
sick.
right. You're a scholarship boy.
I was a scholarship. I got it for free. I got a degree for free.
Minced in there on a red carpet. And,
Yeah.
Got right at the front of the school classroom and teacher's pet Zach.
Didn't have to pay cent.
Got his top button done up. Of course you did.
Exactly. And then, so I was like, well, I don't have any student debt. I should go back. And then I went and I did the first week. And I was like, I can't do this again.
Wow.
Because it was just so basic.
Oh, you went back to back.
I went back to back, and
Gross.
did I go back to back? Maybe I had like a 6-month break. But I went back and I was like, man, it was going to take till try 5 and try 6 until I was actually going to learn new stuff. Because I looked at the curriculums and I was like, oh man, they're kind of the same. So yeah. So what I did was I just went, nah, screw this. I left and I found a master's degree in business, and I was like, I'm going to do that. I don't know why. I was like, this will come in handy at some point.
That's
it
good
hasn't
thinking.
yet. Has not come in handy
I just
yet.
said that's good thinking, but nope.
Yeah, 30 grand for a bit of paper.
So you've got a master's in business?
I got a master's in business.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I got a
Damn.
master's degree that I haven't used, and I'll probably, I might use one day, but here's a really good example of a waste of money. The
master's in business.
Yeah, the master's in business, because I felt like it's the networking thing I didn't make the most of it, but I also, in hindsight, maybe I should have. It was a whole bunch of international students, so a lot of people that didn't even speak English that well, and you'd rock up and you were the only Australian in the course, basically, and it was just kind of super boring, super bland. And
sounds like business.
Yeah, it was just not exciting, or not something that I could actually get around.
Yeah, right.
I did it because I only have to do 2 semesters and I got it. It was literally a year. Yeah, because I had enough prerequisites in my bachelor degree to justify it, which
Your
is
bachelor
insane.
degree in music?
Don't ask. But yes, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. But there was enough boxes that got ticked in the copy over that I went to go and enroll in my classes.
Yeah.
Because I was using the app.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was, and it wouldn't let me enroll in the next semester, and I'd done 2 semesters already. So I went into the library or the tech support, wherever it was, and I was like, hey, it's not letting me enroll in my next class. And she looked at it and she's like, oh, it's because you're done. And I was like, I'm finished? And she's like, yeah, it looks, you've completed the masters. Well done. And I was like, hooray. I didn't even know I finished the course and had no idea. I'd instantly saved what I thought was another 6 to 12 months. And
that's
I'd finished
ridiculous.
it. Yeah, which is insane. It's insane that my music degree
you had enough
gave me enough
prerequisites to just go and to start your masters.
Yeah, and not even start my masters. Do it just
already have
quickly.
half done.
Yeah, insane.
I should go get my masters in business.
Yeah, don't.
No, yeah.
It was 12.5 grand a semester. I did 2 semesters, so 25 grand.
But have you? So you are not in touch with any of the people you did the course with, not the lecturers. You haven't used any. You haven't used the qualifications. None of it. Nothing.
None of it.
Right. This is a good ad for Masters of Business.
Not at all.
Yeah, this is horrible.
I wouldn't even. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't do it again. I'm glad I did it. I don't regret anything.
Right.
But I don't, because I think it sent me on a journey to kind of learn a bunch of things, because I did that, and then I got into sales, and then I took this path, which I know is going to help me very much in the future. I just know for certain, and that probably triggered that.
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't have gone through that route if I stayed in the audio degree. I'd probably be so much happier. I don't know. But
who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah,
could be dead.
yeah.
I could have killed myself already.
Could have been.
Yeah,
Could have been.
If I did the audio degree,
Yeah.
where would I be? I don't know. But I would have spent another 2 years building networks and spending time with people.
Yeah.
And I would have spent more time working on my craft. But I would have been a broke uni student for another 2 years. So
That's true.
I don't know. But
Yeah.
maybe I would have got more into the music industry. But what I'm really proud of is I got to learn a different skill outside of the industry and then bring that skill in, and I feel like it can be very disruptive when people do that.
It can be disruptive when people learn a different skill
Absolutely, yeah.
and come back into where they were.
Yeah, if you get really good, I heard a really great example the other day. It was in Diary of a CEO. Do you know Stephen Bartlett?
Yeah. He does, yes.
He was talking about it's not the skill set, it's a context. So
Cool.
you might have this incredible skill set. Let's say you are a graphic designer and you're working in tech companies. There's not going to be a ton of opportunity for you because you're working in this market where it's not very valuable.
Right.
But if you take graphic designing and take it to an industry like with a ton of money, maybe you take graphic designing and you go to like some type of business where they really want these incredible graphics made, but they don't have that network already in the tech side of things. Now suddenly you're worth a lot of money.
Definitely,
so if you've got the skill set and you like being a musician in music, you're not going to get paid a lot. But if you're a musician and you're getting, for example, commissioned by the Commonwealth Bank to create this piece for this advertisement they're going to make, you're going to make a lot of money doing that.
There's going to be cash.
Yeah, because it's a context.
Definitely.
It's a skill set. If you are not making money with your skill set, you are in the wrong context.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, which is that an example of that, and a really clear example of that in music is cover bands. Like we've got this great skill set. If you're playing original music, you're not going to make any money. If you play cover shows, you're going to make money. If you play cover shows, corporate gigs, you're going to make even more money because you're taking that skill set and applying it to something that's where they do have lots of money.
Yeah.
Like I literally played a gig for the opening of a new bank branch, and I think I got paid $600 for an hour solo.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, because it was for a new branch of the NAB Bank in in the city, you know?
Yeah.
So
they would have been, just give this guy some money. He'll
exactly.
Is 600 enough? And at that time you would have been like, yes, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a context.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
That's no matter what we do as artists is if we can really master that and make sure that we're putting our context or work out what our skill sets are and applying that to different things. Hence why, like, for example, I've just constantly thinking about, as I've got this now business and sales based mindset, it's like if we take that into the music industry, that is a massive competitive advantage. That's why Nick's doing quite well, because he's thinking quite business wise in an industry where musicians unfortunately don't. So
for sure, yeah.
Like I saw a crazy thing the other day. Nick's, in terms of the Brisbane music scene, Nick's music business has 3% of the market share on Google.
Really?
3%.
That's nuts.
That's heaps.
That's crazy.
Heaps. That's heaps. And that's because if you're running Google ads, right, you're running Google ads in a niche where Google ads are not very popular, or people are, the stay-at-home teaching from the house. It's a very easy industry to disrupt.
Yes,
whereas
gotcha.
if you are, this is what I was talking to Teak, the guy running the ads, he's trying to run ads for like digital online businesses. much, much, much harder
Yeah.
to get that market share because you're competing against people who know that market very, very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where my mind was at in terms of it should be such an easy market to disrupt.
Yeah.
If I can learn sales and business skills and bring that to the music industry, there are so many people that really struggle to understand those types of things in the music industry.
Yeah.
It's the biggest reason why they struggle to grow any more than just,
Just the
local band. Yeah.
And that's why it's cool to have different people in the bands that are from different walks of life. So you and Nick are business minded, and your sales background, and then it's always. And Sarah is actually really business minded too. Like she told me what she does, and I still can't say it because I don't know still what her job title is. She's amazing, whatever she does. She's amazing. But the point is, from different walks of life.
I couldn't tell you. I can
She's told
describe
me three
it.
different. Yeah, same. Yeah. But I can't if I was to make a name badge for her, it would be Sorrow. But I don't know what to put underneath it.
Head of Slay.
Oh, she's gonna love that.
It's something to do with.
She's gonna love that.
Oh no, we're gonna make this worse.
We're just gonna make it worse. You know
Let's
what?
just move on.
In for a penny, in for a pound. What does our best friend do?
What does she do? She does. She's setting up a museum of hate. I know that. Anti-hate, not hate. not.
We should clarify all of this. Anti-hate.
Yeah, it's like a museum. The funniest part is.
You just said it so dry. She's setting up a museum of hate.
Hate.
And just stared at me.
Yeah.
That's surely not it, man.
No. It's like she's working on this project because let's just stop. This is good.
We're going to cut all this. Doesn't matter.
Let's go. If we're going to cut it, I may as well talk about it. So no, she's setting up a museum of of basically hate and how hateful hate is, how hurtful hate is.
Yeah.
And it was, but there's this South Park episode where they take the school takes the kids to like a similar thing.
Yeah.
And the kids go through like this little travelator. And it's like the
I think I've seen this.
Yeah, it's like they take them through the journey of hate or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And as they're going through, it's the travelator's just like yelling at them like queer, fag, as they're going through.
Yes.
And I showed it to Sarah, and she's like, "Yeah, actually, that's pretty much what we're doing."
Yeah. Yes, I do remember this. Yeah.
So it's
she coordinates experiments. She does a lot of research on businesses and how to stop conflict within businesses.
yes.
There we go. I'm back.
That was what we cut to. Cut out all
That'll
of
just
the.
be 10 minutes of just cut, and then what does Sarah do? She does this.
All right, let's go again. So what's Sarah do?
She runs a museum of hate. What Sarah does is she runs experiments for businesses who are, I'm not going to say it better than what I said.
Okay, we're going to cut all of that.
We need to, because that was gold. That was gold.
Yeah, Sarah's incredible.
She is the best.
She's incredible.
And the reason why I brought all that up was because to have people with different walks of life and different skill sets in your band or in your company or in your business or whatever, it's just going to help your business grow, and it's going to help you reach more people. Different ideas are going to come into the pot, different experiences, different trajectories. If they're in, because we have a lot of different people in terms of the type of people that are in Patient Lounge.
Absolutely.
So, like I was saying, your sales mindset, Nick's business mindset, the experiences that Sarah and I are going to bring into it. I can't say I'm a musician, so what we can offer is we can help drive Patient Lounge in a trajectory that mightn't have happened if those exact people weren't in that band.
I completely agree. I think as an artist, diversity, well, just in general, really, but diversity, it does make a massive difference in a band.
Yeah.
And having the different walks of life, super important. Give you on the contrary, if we were all musicians that were full-time cover band artists that all loved Green Day, I can predict exactly what our music would sound like. Green Day.
Day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If we were four people that just loved Green Day, all we spoke about, and we were like music snobs, and Green Day was the best band ever, and we were a bunch of, we just loved Green Day.
Yeah.
And that's all we spoke about, and we just went and played Green Day cover shows.
Yeah, just be Green Day.
And
Yeah.
we would sound and look like Green Day.
That's it. Yeah. I'd have to cut my hair.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of the idea, is that diversity, you chuck that in, it's like this big mixing pot of so many incredible things. And that's why I'm so excited to get Saro more in the forefront, because I think that what you and her add in terms of R&B style groove is just really cool. And I think it's a really cool mix to put on that hard, heavy rock.
Yeah, to have a bed of just filthy, salacious, sexy rock, and then to have Saro's cool R&B sprinkling over the top is a really odd kind of mix that would make me stop and go, that sounds different. That's kind of cool. What is that?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool.
Especially in Apricot. That's like the peak of
The boiling pot.
That's the point where it's boiling. That's the point where it's spilling over the pot. And that's where I think it's the hard rock and the R&B influences that Sarah has coming together. I think Apricot is the pinnacle on the whole entire album. That's where it all comes together.
I agree. It's so cool. And
Yeah.
I think the second album is just going to be a lot more of that, in my opinion.
Second album.
IMO.
Another concept?
Absolutely. Concept album.
We're just going to do concepts.
I think the cabin will decide what we do.
The cabin has final say.
The cabin has final say. The muse has final say.
The muse has final say.
Regaju has final say.
Regaju has final say.
But yeah, I think that's it. I think that'll make a really, really big difference. And so you go back into uni, right? Do you feel like there was anything specifically you heard from a mentor that you still hold on to today?
Oh yeah, pretty much anything Sean Foran said to me, or pretty much anything Simon Gardner said to me. It's just, especially Simon, because I've spoken to Simon a lot lately. I've spoken to Simon a lot more in recent days, because I worked with him closely when I was working and teaching at the university that I studied at. So getting to spend a lot of quality time with him, he's just full of wisdom and just full of experience that I just always just wanted to talk to him more and more and more. And it's just more about believing in what you're doing and just keep going forward with it is the main crux of what I got from Simon. And it's just, you've just got to keep believing in what you're doing, really. Sean was more, he was very much more, I lent on him a lot in terms of where I should be going in my journey and what I should be studying. And he got me into the masters. So he went to SAE to teach there, and he goes, you should come over and do a master's here. It'll be really good for you. I went, done. That's where I got into screenwriting and music for films. I got really interested in that through Sean. So, and then I think that, Simon is just really about, you just need to know what you're doing, love what you're and keep going with it no matter what anybody says. And it's all just about the music. Simon and Sean were huge in my experiences at JMC in terms of keeping me on the path.
And what inspired that from Simon? What inspired him to tell you that?
I don't know what inspired him to tell me that. I think he might have just seen somebody who just really wanted it and just really wanted to know. Just really was just like a sponge and just really wanted to know whatever he wanted to tell me at the time. And also he plays music that I really enjoy. He plays a lot of virtuosic instrumental guitar, hard rock, which is up my alley so much. And a lot of his instrumentals, even from the bass part, are really interesting. And I think when I asked him all these questions, he could just see that I was genuine and I wanted to know all of what he wanted to tell me, I think.
Yeah. And so was there a specific moment that you remember where he gave you a bit of advice?
It's not really a specific moment with Simon. It's more of the collective. Every time I got to have a chat with him, I always used to preface it by going, hey, do you have 5 minutes to blah, 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 blah? Or I would just come out with a question when he was eating his lunch and he'd be like, I just want to eat my lunch. Yeah, Maddie, absolutely, buddy. And he would always have time. Always have time. I'm sure there was I'm halfway through. I'm a sourdough. Can I just, okay. Nah, whatever you want to know, mate. I'm right here for you. He always had time, and it was just always knowing I could always go to him and go, hey man, what do you think about this? What should I do about this? I'm thinking about going into this. What are your thoughts? Or, I asked him about teaching because he's a fantastic teacher. I always saw him teach the students about how to do better guitar parts or something like that, and how he communicated teaching I really enjoyed that, and I really liked how he taught. And I went, I'm going to steal some of how he uses words and phrases and sayings, even his body language. So it was just, I got a lot out of him. It wasn't just one thing, it was the collective. Every time I went to him, he was always a wealth of knowledge. Just really, really easy to talk to.
How good's that? And then, so if you were to, now that the roles have reversed, right? So you're a teacher. What are the main things, if you were to tell a student 3 things to never forget as a musician, what would they be?
Oh, it's a horrible question. Damn it. 3 things I should never forget. I wish I had this prepared. No, it would probably be something along the lines of, you need to just keep going with whatever you're doing, because I know a lot of artists, a lot of musicians, a lot of uni kids get this whole complex of, I'm not that great, what I'm doing sucks, and I can't wait to finish this course so I can go become a waiter or a whatever, or do a master's in business. You know what I mean? Like they don't have, a lot of them don't have that, no, what I'm doing matters, what I'm doing is actually good, and no, I'm not where I want to be at the moment, but I will. If I keep going, I will get there. But it's hard to see when you're in the middle of it. It's super hard to see that I'm here. I want to get here, and how am I ever gonna get over there? Because there's so much space I've got to travel. But you just got to keep believing what you're doing, and just believe in what you're doing is worth it. You hear that from all the musicians. Any musician you ever like is going to say the exact same thing in some interview. You go into the past and you check out just go into YouTube and you check out the interviews that these guys have done, and they've gone, I just believed what we were doing was right. I believe what we were doing sounded good, and we just kept going with it. And it's just the perseverance of doing that. It's probably the main thing.
Belief. Huge.
It's just belief.
Believe in where you're going.
Yeah. Practice. You've got to practice. There's no substitute for practice. It's just what it is. And that was a reason why uni was so good. It forced you to practice. Absolutely. Or you got left behind. You either kept your spot in the cupboard, or you made room for someone else to go in your space.
Great point.
Right.
And so what's your biggest advice, and how should you practice?
All the time. You should practice all the time. There's no, you can practice for 5 minutes a day is better than no minutes a day. Half an hour a day is fantastic, but you just should have a clear vision of what you're going to practice. Don't just sit down. I mean, sitting down and just picking up your instrument is great. It's great. It's therapeutic. It's going to help you relax. All these things, cool. But you should have a clear vision of what you're practicing. There's a great book, Effective Practicing for Musicians by Benny Greb. Simon Gardner got me onto that. And he goes, you got to read this book. It'll change a whole study of practice and how you should practice and how you should split up your practice time and how often and what on subjects and blah, blah, blah. It breaks down everything for you. And you just need to practice. There's no substitute for it.
I love it. Number 3.
I thought you did that already. Number 3, Zach.
Believe, practice. What is the final, most important part you would teach a musician?
Believe, practice. What is it? I'm going to steal from Nike. Just do it. Just do it. Just go do the gig. Just go to that band rehearsal you don't know anybody else. Go play this show you don't think you're ready for. Go tackle that piece of music you don't think you're ever going to get. Just do it. Just do it. Oh, I don't know if I should do this cruise gig. I'm going to be on there for 6 months. Just do it. 6 months. Who cares? Oh, but I've got blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I should travel interstate to join a band. Just do it. Just do it. You're going to kick yourself if you don't. Oh, I don't know if I should spend all this money on this really good guitar that I really want to get because I think it might help me with my sound and all my other equipment's a piece of shit, but this thing's a really good quality instrument. I think just do it. Just do it. You can always make more money. You can always work more shifts at a Wendy's.
I love it. Incredible.
So what did I say? Belief, practice,
Just do
it.
I love that. That's
bad.
great.
Not bad.
That is awesome.
Now, if we cut that up and make it sound more succinct, I'll sound like a genius.
You are. That's exactly what I'm going to do. That's exact real.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be a cigar, but then I went to do a cigarette. But then, yeah. Anyway.
And so, this is a little bit of a curveball, but you obviously were in that position where you wanted to give up, or let's say you wanted to give up. Did you want to give up when you were in the when things got really bad, right?
Yeah.
Or not really bad, but you were like, I'm the pig at Hog's Breath.
I'm the pig at Hog's Breath. Yeah.
I'm the pig at Hog's Breath.
Yeah.
I'm not on my journey.
Yeah.
If there's someone listening right now who's in that exact same situation,
In the suit.
in the suit, they're literally at Hog's Breath right now in a suit, listening
just
to
sweating
this,
in that furry suit.
sweating.
Yep.
What would you tell that person, apart from obviously just do it and keep going?
Yep.
If you were to give that person one bit of advice on how to change their trajectory and how to make sure they end up following that musical path and that artist journey, what would you tell that person?
It would be, you've got to make a start, and you've got to see that no matter how small your start is, it's still a start. It's start practicing 5 minutes a day on your instrument. That's huge. That's huge because it's not about how much you practice and the cumulative time you practice. It's you're starting to build a routine. Your routine is practice. Amazing. You're not trying to become a better guitarist just yet, or a better keyboardist, or a better oboist. You're just starting to get a better routine first. Once you get a practice routine, your growth is just going to spike exponentially.
Skyrocket.
It would just start. Just start something. Start listening to a genre of music you really want to get into. The more you listen to it, the more things you're going to pick up. The more things you're going to pick up, how it should sound, what your parts should sound, what your parts could sound like. Like when you're learning a new language, you're always told, listen to people who are speaking it, put on the radio in that language, put on a YouTube channel in that language, immerse yourself in the genre of music you want to play.
And so at what point did you realize you were on the right path?
When I got out of the suit, and I thought, when I got out of the suit, went to uni, I was still doing the waiter job at uni, and I was actually climbing the ladder of the hospitality. I went to waiter, to supervisor, then I got to bar manager. I got offered to manage a bar in the Valley that was outside of Hog's Breath altogether, but I decided I wasn't going to do that, and I was just going to go to uni and keep a regular job, just keep the regular bar manager job at Hog's Breath. I didn't want to go and start up a whole new restaurant and take on a whole new other thing, which would have been great, would have paid amazing, but it wouldn't have been what I wanted to do. I don't think I would have been where I am now if I did that. I don't think I'd be teaching now if I did that. I probably still would be running bars, who knows? But I really almost got sucked into the hospitality world, which is great for some people, wouldn't have been great for me. It was great for 10 years. I did it for 10 years, but yeah, apart from that, I really had to get out. And
It's a long time.
it's a long time, man.
It's a long time. I find hospitality as well, as for artists, my warning is it's an industry where you do get sucked down the rabbit hole of destructive habits.
Yeah.
So there's this, number one, you're around alcohol, you're around drugs, you're around gambling. Mm-hmm. And even if you just start by just watching those things as you're serving those things, if you're in pubs and stuff like that, you're watching people gamble, you're watching people drink, you're watching people have a great time. Doesn't take long until you go, I'll clock off and I'll have a beer. And then that'll very quickly turn into, I'll clock off, I'll have 6 beers. And then,
you know what? I'll have 6 beers, then I'll clock off.
Yeah, and then you're working on the weekend, so during the week you are, you're partying and you're doing things, and it's very, very easy. I found I was at my worst productivity and worst as a person when I was doing hospitality.
Yep.
Genuinely.
100%.
It sucked me down this horrible rabbit hole of, this is what my life would look like.
Yeah.
If I wasted away into nothing.
Yeah. Did you do the waiter thing?
Yeah, I was a bartender.
Yeah,
so I was a bartender for a year. I was playing gigs. I lost my license. I bought a Harley where was speeding on it.
Yep.
Lost my license. Was like, what do I do? And then literally I lived beside a pub. So I
Which pub?
The Orderly Hotel.
Alderley Hotel.
Yeah.
Not been there.
I was at the Audley Arms Hotel.
There you go.
Literally walked down, said, "G'day, can I get a job?" And they went, "Yes."
Wow.
That's simple.
That might have been a bit of a red flag if you just walked in and they said, "Yes, you would definitely have a job."
There's a young, handsome 20-year-old going, "I want to pour beers." And they went, "Yeah, let's do it." So I did that. And then, yeah, it was just so quickly it became, just partying with those guys and drinking with those guys.
And working those shifts, you don't really have a lot of time to eat healthy
Exactly.
either. So it would have been the same thing with me. It would have been the drinking, it would have been
food.
Would have been the pub food, it would have been the odd hours you would have kept, so not eating at a good time. My sleep schedule was just gone. I didn't have a sleep schedule. It was just I slept whenever. I didn't have an alarm. For 10 years, I didn't have an alarm.
I literally got fat.
I
got fat.
Right.
I got the fattest ever. So I was vegan at the time as well. Weird combo, makes you fat. I was vegan and I was in the pub.
You were vegan and fat?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I actually got quite unhealthy as a vegan.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I was vegan for 3 years.
Yep.
And during that time, I was eating a lot of, because you end up substituting a lot of your proteins and stuff with carbs, and you're making all these pizzas, and you're trying to find yummy foods and satiating foods that aren't high in protein and fat, essentially.
Right.
So I loved veganism for the discipline that it taught me, because I didn't break it for literally 3 years.
Damn.
But I was getting really sick. I had to go to I went and saw a GP, they did a blood test, and they were like, your iron levels are really, really low. That bad that when I went to the pharmacy to get the iron tablets that I needed, and they didn't want to give them to me. They were like, "Oh, no, these are, they're for people that are anemic." And I'm like, "Yeah, I literally just got prescribed here." And they were like, "What? You're a guy." They're made for women when they bleed too much, that they can take these tablets. And I was getting prescribed those.
Damn, what the hell did you do to yourself,
because
man?
I just had such low iron levels.
Yeah, right.
Not only that, I had psoriasis that had flared up as well. So, or for anyone that wants to do it, go for it.
The liver?
No, psoriasis on my skin. My skin got scaly.
Oh, from
it's
the
an immune condition. Yeah. Well, the low
horrible
iron.
for veganism.
The low iron, I know. The low iron affected my immune system, which then kicked the psoriasis in. So
Gotcha.
I was just low energy. I was sick and tired a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And that.
And vegan and fat.
Yeah, and vegan and fat. Horrible combination. Sick, tired, dumb, I think. Dumber.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was all for the diet. I would do the diet. If I would do veganism again if I had someone who was prepping all my meals and making sure that all my calories are awesome.
Right.
But it wasn't healthy for me to do.
Sounds it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I've started eating meat and I've been great ever since. The other thing, I got skinny fat. I couldn't build muscle well because I was fit. I was literally fit. There's photos of me before I went vegan, and I look basically like what I look like now. I went vegan and then I got fat, and then I lost that weight while I was vegan and got kind of skinny fat because my muscles were quite small. They shrunk.
Yeah.
Atrophied.
Your body was just eating your muscles.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's not necessarily the diet, but I didn't know what I was doing. I jumped behind the driver's seat of a car that I didn't know how to drive. I didn't have anywhere near the understanding of training and nutrition that I do now.
Yeah.
And how to really combat that. I definitely wouldn't have been eating anywhere near enough of the right types of foods as well. But I think that is going to be 95% of the population as well.
Surely, right?
So yeah, I think veganism, if you were to do it, just jumping in and doing it is not healthy. You've got to understand nutrition and you've got to understand how to actually do it properly.
That makes sense, yeah. And fat chance getting that done on a hospitality time schedule.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that whole preamble was hospitality is a horrible industry to get into. Absolutely horrible industry to get into because it will ruin your life.
Yep. You heard it here, folks.
You heard it
Hospitality
here.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other issue is like the progression is. The other issue.
What
you'd
did we
spend-
burn? China, vegans,
Trish.
hospitality, Zaro. God's sake.
The other issue is you end up into like you'll spend a couple years there, and especially if you're in one of these big chains, you'll get promoted to like regional manager or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and still the wages are just rubbish for what you're doing.
Yeah. I was...
Hence why I became a musician.
Because they're so much better. They get paid so much more.
So much more money.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I think from there it was I stopped working for money's sake, and I started working towards what I want to do and be able to
Absolutely.
make money out of what I do, which is
Working
what I
for
can
passion.
do now. Yeah,
Passion.
which is what I can do now. Because
Absolutely.
I can make money out of what I do, and my passion is music, and I'm making money out of it pretty much 100% now, which is what I wanted to do since I started uni. I went, I just want to make money out of music. That'd be fantastic. Then my whole life could be about music. I could talk about music, be around musicians, play music all day, blah, 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 blah. So that's what I wanted to do, and I'm almost at 100%.
And there's this thing I hear musicians talk about where, especially musicians that haven't turned pro yet, and by pro I just mean professional, that's just all they do, where they feel like if they go pro, they'll end up not loving it as much as if it's just a hobby.
Right.
What would you say to that?
You're wrong.
Why?
Because making money out of something you love doesn't take away the enjoyment out of it. Just means the way I see it as I'm making money to give myself more time to enjoy what I like to do more. So if I'm making money out of music, that means I get to do music more. And if I like music and I get to do it more, there's no way I'm not going to like it. Now, if I do a musical job that I don't like, that's on me because I've said yes to that musical job I don't like to do. So say, for instance, I've taken on a musical career in a piano trio in a jazz bar, and I'm playing upright bass. That's amazing for some people. I don't think I'd get a kick out of that as much as playing in a rock band and touring. That would be my fault. That doesn't mean making money out of what you love is wrong. It just means I made the wrong decision in my industry to get paid for. So if you get paid for what you're doing, that's great. If it's music, more power to you. Get paid money for what you do, of course. Yeah, it's great. Why would you want to keep it as a hobby? If keeping something as a hobby is great, but if that's your passion, keeping it as a hobby is, I think, silly. It's your passion. Go after it.
Yeah,
As long as
absolutely.
it's not, axe murdering people. Go after whatever you want to do.
Axe murdering is the only one you don't agree with?
Well, if you're going to do it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, go to
Don't
Bundy.
do it half-assed. Don't keep it a hobby.
Don't keep it a hobby. Like,
Go
go
all
pro.
in.
Yeah, get the proper tools. Get the proper house. With the bunker,
The basement.
with the cold fridge. Get the pig farm. So when you have a body, you chuck it over there, and no one hears from that person again because the pigs eat them, right?
And I think that's where we end this.
I think we've got to end this. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's been an hour, so
It's been an hour.
been over an hour.
Over an hour.
Midday. It's midday already.
I thought he says Monday.
It's Monday.
It's Monday.
That was
Fuck, I haven't eaten in 3 days.
sick. Yeah, any closing remarks?
Yeah, you're going to laugh at the stain you gave yourself on your t-shirt.
No! What? Why? Why did you only... Oh, no. Oh, well. All right. So rude.